Hey, what's up, everybody? I am here with Sabastian Huynh with Syndicate. And Sebastian has been coaching business owners and entrepreneurs for over 20 years. He originally started off as being a pastor out in Texas and in California, and transitioned into coaching business owners and entrepreneurs. Hey, thanks for joining us here today.
Yeah, you're welcome, Danny. And this is the first time someone pronounced my name correctly.
You, I think you have a very specific niche as to pronouncing the name. I think maybe I'm the only person that can do it.
Yeah, that's right.
But yes, tell us a little bit about yourself, a little bit of your background before you all got started into this coaching realm.
Well, let me give you the short and dirty and let you go from there. Let me just make sure my Yeti mic's on. All right. Yeah. So the short and dirty is got married, oh my gosh, 24 years ago, left Texas, came to California. We started a church out here. Then the church grew into working with business owners who came into the church, and I was mentoring them and just got to know the business world a lot. And then from there, started a business with one of the guys I was coaching. And we started business together to help other small business owners and coach them with some life principles. And what we found was most business problem comes from a personal problem. Mm-hmm. So it's really all the business problems you can imagine really stems from one thing, and it's the person themselves. And it's the way they see the world and the way they have been trained, taught, and raised to look at the world. But if they take care of themselves, the business issue really resolves itself. And as a pastor, as you mentioned, I was a pastor for a while, and I even just thought the church wasn't really running itself well as a business. And I was coaching business owners. So in between that time, I went and got my MBA and got to see this other side of the world, merging our personal development, our business development together. And that's what I've been doing ever since.
Yeah, you mentioned, you started a church out in California. And what I've noticed, because I've talked to a couple of pastors before, and they do, obviously they coach other pastors. But what I'm also seeing is the church you can look at it like as a business, right? Mm-hmm. Right. There's organizational hierarchy, there's people management. How are you finding, the common threads between running a church and running a business?
I would say the common thread is they all have to meet the bottom line. You got to keep the doors open, the lights on. And there's all about customer satisfaction. It's all about listening to the customer. It's creating a product to meet the customer's need. So they're very common. It's just different cultures, so they use different languages. But in the line, if anybody tell you it's different, they probably close their door as a church. It is exactly like we're in business. You just have a different audience with a different specific niche solution that they need.
Mm-hmm. So even before you got into pastoring and business coaching, I want to ask you, even before that, you have a very, very colorful background, I would say, and something that, a completely 180 in your life. Can you 100%. Share a little bit about, that time in your life and
Sure.
that moment where you said, hey, I'm turning my life around?
Yep. So I had this, I was born into the family business. Some of you guys might have heard about my family. It's called the Chinese Mafia. So I actually got there by accident, finding them. Just grew up with a single mom, low income in Dallas, Texas. And I lived with all Latinos and Hispanics. And this is just how my mind was naturally created and worked. I was in fifth grade, probably sixth grade, fifth, sixth grade, sit in my best friend's house and known their family for years, and uncles come in, black duffel bags like normal, and they take it out in front of us. And just at this stage, I saw it in a different way, and they're taking out cocaine and marijuana and chopping it up. And I looked down and I said, hey, uncle, if you did this and this step, do you think you'd get more out of it? And they looked at me and said, Chino, are you crazy? You're like sixth grade. You're telling me how to cut my stuff up? I don't know. I just saw something. I just saw this other pattern. If you did that, could you get more out of it? So at that time, they gave me my first quarter bag. This is in mid-'80s. And they told me, go sell this, and you come back in a week, we'll sell you some more. If not, then don't ever talk to us about this stuff again. I came back in 5 days, and everything went crazy afterwards. I got so big, I was in the Mexican Mafia. Then I realized I wasn't Mexican. They taught, and this is in the 80s in Dallas. So there was not very many Vietnamese, Chinese out there. Yeah. Like my brother and their friends came to America in the late 80s. And I realized, hey, I'm Asian. And to make a very long story short, when the Asians, we call them, they had sticky fingers. So whatever they touched, they stole basically, but they liked the drugs. So I gave it from the Mexicans to the Asians, and the Asians, whatever the Mexican wants, the Asian would steal for them. And man, I'm sophomore dropout, making more money than most adults. I'm having several high schools and junior highs I'm supplying to. And I just hit rock bottom because my mom told me, she brought me to America, to have American dream, big house, new cars, money, power, and all this. And as a little kid, I had it all and I didn't know what to do with it. And so I got arrested several times and ended up in prison. And on the way there, a Caucasian man on the streets told me about the love of Jesus. I said, F you. I don't know if I could say what I really said, but I said,
this
F
is
you.
not on air TV, so you can say.
Okay, I can say whatever. Well, I basically told him, fuck you, white man. That's your God. And then got into prison. And I thought this guy's about to kill me because he owned the whole cell block and I just got in maximum security. But he came in, instead of killing me, he came in and told me about the love of Jesus, this big black guy, and gave me this book. And I said, who the fuck is this Jesus guy? He keeps on chasing me around. And maybe it's not a white man's God because this black man told me about him. And the book was called The Cross and Switchblade with a Puerto Rican guy. I was like, what the hell's going on? And so I read a little bit and I was just at rock bottom. I said, you know what? I'm not getting out of here. I'm facing 66 years to life. I'm done. And I guess it's not going to hurt to talk to a God if there is a God. And I just got on my knees because I was influenced as a Catholic kid and one of my stepfathers. I said, okay, God, let's have a talk. Opened my eyes. He wasn't there. I said, see, you're not real. And because in the Buddhist culture, we're looking at statues. We see statues, right? I didn't see God show up or anything. But it just hit me. There's this phrase that hit me in my head. And I just broke down. I was like, oh, my God, I'm not in control. I need help. And I just started bawling my eyes off. If you know anything about prison, you don't cry in prison. Because if you cry, the next night you're going to cry for different reasons. And I just couldn't help myself. It was like a cleansing and a freedom. And it was just, I can't describe, it wasn't like pain or agony or grieving. It was tears of joy. And now I would use the words forgiveness and just, it felt like all the weight of the world that I was carrying just lifted off me. It was amazing. Long story, even more longer short is multiple miracles happened afterwards. I was released and turned my whole life around and ran from the mafia about 3 years. And then after that, went to Bible college after attending my first church. And they're like, it was crazy. Went to Bible college, became a pastor. And then like after being a pastor for several years, I found the traditional church is probably not my place. I cussed a lot, drank a lot of scotch and smoked cigars. And so I started working Christian business owners who did the same thing I did. I was like, hell yeah. And so it was just more authentic. We could get really honest about their business, their marriage, their parenting, and their spirituality, and really take them deeper. Not only growing their business, growing their faith, growing their family, growing their finances, and importantly, growing their fitness.
Now, is your particular niche like Christian business owners or just business owners in general?
Yeah, that's a really good question. You would think it's Christian business owners, but I even screw them up. Not all of them are very so you have to understand, Christianity, like any other religion, has its own paradigm, has its own rules, game plan. And so like if you're going to go play baseball or you go play football, you can't have a baseball player coming into a football game, baseball bat. Yeah. So Christianity has its own game, and I don't play very well in it because I like to be 100% authentic. So I cuss a lot, have cigars, scotch. I say what's on my mind. In fact, I get paid for saying what everybody else knows, but no one's willing to say. Bottom line, I just closed a huge contract in Dallas because I interviewed the whole team, all the employees, came back and said, I'm not going to tell you anything new that you don't know. I'm going to say what you're not willing to hear or no one's willing to say. After that, they signed me up because I'm a truth. I tell the truth, you know, and I'm an integrity myself. If I don't say it, then I create no value for them. You know, it's more about me than the mission or where they want to go.
Right.
So yeah, you think Christian pastors or Christian business owners would be an ideal target audience for me, but they're probably like 25%. 75% of my audience are non-Christians because they don't get offended. Me just calling them out and calling them up into what they're committed to.
Yeah. So you know, you work with both Christian and non-Christian business owners, but you did mention, like, you know, the spirituality aspect, the personal aspect. So I know a lot of like business coaches and executive coaches, there's kind of still like on the business side, right? They don't
Yep.
kind of touch the personal sides, but I think
Nope.
you're right. It's like, to get to the business side, there is a connection to the personal, to the personal side. So tell us a little bit about how deep into the onion do you peel back
Oh,
on the
everything,
personal side so they can get results on the business side?
brother. Everything and everywhere, because here's why. Most business coaches only focus one dimension, maximum two. They'll focus on business and maybe they'll focus on the person. I focus on all four, on your faith, your fitness, your family, and your finance. And in that order. Faith is spiritual connection. It has nothing to do with religion. It's, do you know that you have a purpose in this world? Are you connected spiritually to a greater being? Because here's why. If you're not, guess what? You're the greatest being you know. And let me ask you, how's that working for you? Because you're trying to talk to me to support you in your business, right?
Right.
So faith is really your spiritual connection, your purpose on this earth. Second, your fitness. That's your self-love and self-care. Is your physical fitness, your cardio, your muscular strength, is it good enough to support you towards your target? It's not about having a six-pack or anything else. I know a man that has a baby. He's carrying around an 8-month-old baby. He's the most strongest, healthiest guy I know. He just loves eating. But I guarantee you that guy, whatever vision he has, he can make it happen. Mm-hmm. So you got your faith, your fitness, your family. Family's not just your biological family. Family is any relationship you have. And in the business world, most people's family, they spend 8 to 10 hours a day with the people they work with more than they do their own flesh and blood family. Yeah. So when we talk about family, we're talking about all their relationships. And finally, when we talk about finance, we're not talking about how much money they make. We talk about, do they have joy producing money? Are they connected to their faith? They know their purpose. Are they producing money? Are they being a producer in something that they enjoy and gives them life? And that will result in the numbers. So if they always get hurt like in numbers, like their numbers aren't there, always question, are you doing what you're called to do? Yeah. And a lot of people aren't. They just found some place that's comfortable for them to make some money, and they're afraid to take the risk to do what they're really passionate about, what they're called to do. Yeah. So that, Danny, that is why, honestly, I don't get that many clients. But the ones I do get, we go deep and we go a long time. I don't have a 30-day coaching, 60 days. Those are just stages we do them in. Mm-hmm. But most of my clients are with me for years because we peel back an onion and we go super deep. And here's the most beautiful part. If you're stuck in the finance area, we'll talk about it. We'll uncover that. I bet you anything, if I uncover something going on in your family, mm-hmm. your fitness, or your faith, it'll help unlock the finance side because you're all tied together. Yeah. You're four-dimensional. Yeah. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah. So, because I know usually when someone comes to you, it's probably related to business first, right? I need to make more money, or I need to be a better leader, yes. Or, my team needs to get better. So, you don't have to disclose any confidential communication, but talk about some of the things you've been doing in the past for your clients that really created transformation for them.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. We start off because they as business owners are struggling with something. And what I call it is they've just reached the border of their comfort zone. Mm-hmm. So all of us create this comfort zone in our faith, fitness, family, and finance, and we're in dead center of it. That's why it's comfortable. We go up here in our faith, we stop right before we get outside of our faith. Go this way in our family, we stop before we get outside those relationships. And we're just in the middle of it. We're in control of all of it. But we get very bored. The most dangerous person in this world is a bored person. Because they will go and self-destruct what they have built because they can control it and rebuild it. Mm-hmm. So they have a purpose. And a bored person is most dangerous and most destructive. And sometimes these business owners get outside of their comfort zone to the edge of their comfort zone. And they see all this new possibility, all this unprecedented area. And they decide, I want to go here. This comfort zone is getting boring. I'm done with it. I was created for more. I want to have a bigger purpose in my life. And that's where they usually intersect with me. And that's when they would come in. And a lot of them, you're right, because business gives them the resources and we'll work on the business. And we always go into their personal life, their faith, and their fitness, and their family. And it's beautiful because once they grow in one area, one of those areas dominates into all three areas. And they're whole and complete. So I get to a couple other coaching organizations now that have been talking to me to coach their own coaches. Because here's what they do. They only coach business. They only do one-dimensional. They sign them up 40,000, 80,000 a year, depending on the product they use. This business owner gets a call a week and they just work on their business structure and all that. Guess how long they last? 1 year only. There's never a renewal. Do you know why? First of all, they paid all of it in 1 year, so they're going to get their money's worth, and they can't get their money back. So that's the only reason they have a 1 year success rate. If they would refund their money, I guarantee they wouldn't last 1 year. Second, they have no renewals. Because when you talk to somebody one dimension, 1 year only, they're going to go to the bar and talk about their family or their relationships. They're going to go to the church, mosque, synagogue, somewhere else, talk about their faith. They're going to go somewhere else because they're a whole complete person. They're going to go to a gym about their fitness, self-help, and self-care and self-love. So if you're not doing that as a coach, you know, you lost out. But here's why most coaches don't do it, because they're not complete themselves. Most coaches have not worked on themselves for personal development, leadership development, spiritual development, relational development, that you have to work on yourself to be able to coach that. And so I've been in the trenches and, you know, like you said, done 180 and all these things, and constantly invest a lot of money in myself every year. And I go and do stupid things I don't even want to do. It stretches me to be a coach in those 4 dimensions.
So like there's a saying that I heard, like the plumber's bathroom is always the worst.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. And so, you know, you did mention investing in yourself and, you know, stretching the comfort zone. So when you're with the client and, you know, they need to get out of their comfort zone, what are some of the techniques that, you know, you employ to, like, hey, if you want to get to the next level, these are, you know, things you got to do, get through your limiting beliefs and get out of your comfort zone. Yeah.
It's pretty simple, but most people can't do it. Ready? It's very simple. I will not have a client unless they know what they want. You can't tell me. If I coach you and you don't have a target to hit that's outside your comfort zone, and this target you don't have, then I'm just coaching you where you're at, and that's where you'll stay. And it sounds like all judgment. Because you're going to defend what you do because there's nowhere else to go, and you just stay there and do the same crap. I only coach you if you have a target, because that target itself is your motivation and your accountability. Meaning this, ready? This one company would say, hey man, our company needs a lot of inspiration, motivation. We saw some of your videos, your TED talk, all this. You're very inspiring. Can you come and motivate us? I said, nope. What the fuck? I said, that's right. I can't motivate you. The only thing that's temporary. I can come and light a fire up your butt. You guys, whoo, rah, rah, you'll go back and do the same crap. You want motivation? If you want motivation, get the team a target. That target outside of their current reality will motivate them, inspire them. Because when they get there, guess what they get? They get bonuses, awards, acknowledgement, accolation, all kinds of things. But they get something new than they had right here. Treat me like I am, that's where I'll stay. Treat me what I can be, that's what I'll become. And they experience that growth. They experience that growth. So I don't do motivations. The second thing people tell me, can you keep my team accountable? Yes, but not the way you think.
Right.
I'm not going to call them every morning. I'm not going to write them on their numbers. I'm going to say, hey, where do you want to go? You put this out there. You said this is your target. You're going to own it. And I hold them able to what they declared. That's accountability. Yep. So most people think accountability is, hey, you can lose weight. Danny, I'm going to go gym with you. How much you can lose? 20 pounds? Well, I'll meet you at 5 a.m. Let's go do it before work and all that. And then I realized that was really stupid. I don't want to give him at 5 a.m. That's Danny's declaration. That's his commitment. That's 20 pounds he wants to lose. So I call you. I say, hey, Dan, you know what? I was just up in the moment. We're at a bar having a couple of beers, and I really want to support you, but I can't go and do it. And you're like, see, I can't lose weight now. Sebastian doesn't even support me. And like, you don't even do it. That's not accountability. Yeah. That wasn't my declaration to be accountable to. That was yours. So how about this? Danny, after you go to gym at 5 a.m., because that's the time you said you want to go, how about you call me? What time will you get done? 6 after your shower, 6:30? All right. Yep. Text me at 6:30 and tell me what you did that day, and I'll celebrate with you. There is accountability, because it's not my target. It's your target to lose 20 pounds. But guess what? You're going to think in your head, if I don't go to gym this morning, Sebastian's waiting for a text for me, tell me what I did and celebrate me. It's going to suck because I'm going to look like a jerk, right? Yeah. There's one form of accountability. But if you don't do it, it's still not skin on my back. It's what you declared. So I'll hold you able to your declaration. Yeah. So it starts off, everybody has to have a target outside their comfort zone, or I can't work with you.
Yeah. So, you know, you mentioned before someone comes to work with you, they have to have a target. And, it sounds like that is one characteristic of what makes a good student of yours, right?
Yes.
And, what makes a good coach like yourself, maybe they focus on the whole thing, not just leadership and finances. Yeah. Tell us a little bit more about, if I want to coach with you, right? How do I be the best student? I have my target, right? What other qualities or actions or things do I do in front with you to make sure that I get the results I want and I'm your best student?
Okay. So I'm going to teach you this one principle. So first of all, you don't have to know where you want to go. You just have to be committed, leaving your comfort zone. I'll help you create where you want to go, put the timelines and all that. We call it setting your table. Most people are eating crumbs off the table of life. And they're like, oh, this crap fell off. This crap fell off. And depending what religious background you are, I will not say, you'll say, oh, thank God, I just got to eat shit. I'm going to be grateful. They're eating crumbs off the table and they're like, I hate this shit, but they act like they love it. Because culturally, you better be grateful and thankful, right? And so those people become victims because you're not in control. The people I work with, I teach them how to set their table. Meaning this is the table you're going to set. You're going to go kill, eat, and bring on this table and you're going to eat it. And you only have so many seats around this table that you can invite these people on this journey with you. And not everybody's going to want to sit with you because they might think your food is gross. So unless you're ready to give people reason to reject you, you haven't given people reason to accept you. You have to set your table. This is what I'm going to eat. Join me or not. Too bad. I'm doing it with or without you. See, now you're no longer a victim. You're a leader. This is my table. This is what I do. You could come join me. And when business owners start setting their table, you feel instant energy shift. Okay. So first of all, I teach them how to set their table. Second, for them to set their table, they have to live in the 95%. So I didn't bust out my iPad or I'd shoot it up on the screen for you, but you can visualize this with me and we can send a PDF or whatever, they can see it. Very simple. If my hand represents the whole truth, this circle in my hand represents the whole truth of the universe before you were born and after you died. Before all of us were born and after we died, Danny, this whole circle. And you put a pin in the middle and make a pie slice of this whole circle. Give me what percentage of the pie slice do you know that you know? With certainty, 100%, I know that I know. All the truth in the universe before you're born, after you die, how much percentage do you think you know that you know?
I don't know if there's a number this small, whatever the small
exactly,
number is.
Right? It's like 0.00001, right?
Right.
Because that's all the truth in the universe. But for visual sake, let's just say 1%.
Yeah.
You got pie slice, that's 1%.
Yeah.
And so you got 99% left.
Yeah.
What percentage of that 99% do you know that you don't know? I know I don't know how planes fly. I know the concept. I still don't know how to fly. I went on Disney cruise with my family. I know I don't know how that big ass boat didn't sink in the bottom of the ocean. I know water dispersion, whatever. I still don't know what that means. I don't know. So I know I don't know. So what percentage do you think left out of that 99% that you know you don't know?
Good question.
A little bit more than the first one, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. More than say the 1%.
Yeah.
Right. But way less than, the total amount of what's in the universe.
So let for numbers sake and visual sake, let's say 4%. Yeah. I think most of us agree we know more that we don't know. Like I know I don't know trigonometry, or I know I don't know how to do surgery. Right. So we know more than that we know that we know. Because what we know has come from our life experience. And we're finding being we don't live that long. So we don't know that much of the infinite truth of the universe. 1%, I know that I know. 4%, I know I don't know. That's about 5% total. So the rest of the 95% is, I didn't know, I didn't know.
No.
I don't know what I don't know. And that's being curious. You're living in curiosity. You're living in creation where you create things. You're living in uncertainty. And if you want to be the best coaching client, you just want to be best human being. You want to have less divorce? You want to have less conflict? Live in the 95. Oh, where's my hat? I have hats. We have hats that say 95 on it. We live in the 95. You know why? Because we live without holding anything. People who hold on. This is the truth. If you're a professor, if you're a expert, guess what you do? You have to share that you're expert. You have no learning capacity. You live in the 1% or the 4% or maximum 5%. and you're missing out on 95%. We say be a learner, be curious, live in the 95. So anything you say, Danny, I'm like, even if I think I know it, I don't know it.
Mm-hmm.
I know maybe this level, you might take me this level. So it's always being curious. It's always letting go of what you hold on to certainty. So we get in a conflict, or my boys get in a conflict. I said, looks like you guys are living in the 1%. How's that working for you? Out of the whole world, you're living 1%. Congratulations. You know what I mean? You're living out what? 99% more. At least get to the point that you know that you don't know.
Right.
You can live 5%, but that's still pretty shitty. I rather live in the 95%. And they make the best coaching clients. But they're not there right away. Because what got them successful was being certain, living in 1%.
Right.
But that's why they're talking to me, because that certainty is not certain anymore, because it won't get them where they want to go. Yeah. So I teach them how to get into 95%. It's a journey.
Yeah. Now, now I know you've heard, probably read Tim Ferriss, 4-Hour Work Week. Have you heard of his not domino theory, but how he uses dominoes for productivity? Okay. So, for those of you who don't know, it's like, what domino can I knock down this day that will make everything easier for the rest of my day? So I want to ask that question in the coaching context, right? With your students, right? What is one domino, if this can be answered, what is one domino for your coaching students that once they knock this down, everything else becomes much easier than before? I put it that way. Not easy, but easier than before.
So Tim Ferriss Way's domino, we use domino too, but we use that our quarterly planning out of their faith, fitness, family, finance. Which one, if we poured into the most, you got the most results this quarter, would be the domino to the other 3 domains. So we use the domino principle. Other coaches say, if you had to eat a frog, when would you eat it? Eat the frog today. We say this: have the most successful day and have that domino effect, have the most difficult conversation first thing in the morning. Sometimes it's with yourself, sometimes it's with others, but do not avoid the most difficult conversation. Most conversations, or a missing conversation, is what screws everybody up. Yeah. It's either with yourself. You either have to do journaling or something with yourself, with God, with others, vendor, business partner, employee, but usually it's a conversation. Yeah. Now you think about it, Danny, in the last week you had, the most difficult thing you could have done that got you the most traction, most results, most value, most business. And you're going to say, it wasn't writing a contract. It wasn't marketing, get more business. It's a conversation. Either someone that's doing your ads and marketing for your business, either someone that you're relying on a product or something from, but it's usually a conversation that will domino everything else. And then you're lighter. You're like, you got that monkey off your chest. You knocked down that domino. You ate that frog, whatever phrase you want to do, but it's in a missing conversation. But you had that conversation and your energy level is just like out the roof. Yeah. Yeah. So, I just finished listening to that book, Eat That Frog. And so for the listeners who haven't read it yet, the idea is, if you eat the frog the first thing in the morning, nothing's going to be that nasty the rest of the day. Right. And so, get that thing done and the rest of the day will be much easier. But if you don't eat that frog, the rest of your day turns into shit. Because you're sitting here thinking, I gotta eat this frog, Yeah. So you can't focus, you can't have conversation, you can't do anything. All you're thinking about this frog and you're paralyzed rest of the day. Different degrees, different intensity, but to make the point, you're not getting crap done until you eat that frog, because you have to eat it that day. So why wait till the end of the day, waste the whole day? Just eat it instantly and everything else is easier. You just did the most difficult thing. And by the way, that's the whole book. That's actually it. That's basically the whole book. I save you, how many days you're going to read it for listeners. All right. So you've been coaching a long time, over 20 years in the, if you can pick like the top 3 things, top 3 mistakes, executives, business owners make with their business, what would you say those 3 things would be? Oh, so first I say they don't give people a reason to reject them. See, I think this is a journey of life. I mean, this just boils down to hundreds of clients and the same thread, depending, I don't care if your business is 50 million, 1 million, 500,000, any range on a scale. I don't care how big your business is. I think every human being, every business owner, every CEO struggles with this one thing. If you're breathing, you're struggling with this. Ready? You don't give people a reason to reject you, so they have no reason to accept you. We are afraid to be ourselves. So what we do is we conform. So extreme of this guy, Gary Vee, you know, heard of Gary Vee, right?
Mm-hmm.
That guy reads no books. I'm like zero. He is the book, right?
Yeah.
He's like, screw all the book. I'm making up this shit along the way as I go. This is who I am. So he's at one extreme. The other extreme are people who hide behind books, MBA, business principles, blah, blah, other people's success. So I think the biggest first mistake every entrepreneur, business owner, leader makes, every human being, they're afraid to be themselves. Because when you're yourself, you're going to see things that no one else sees. You're going to do things. You're committed to things. The way our brain's wired, we are committed to doing certain things when we think it's our own idea. Even though it's been done, everybody else has done it. But when you're committed and it's your idea, your brain activates in a different way and you'll most likely get it done. It's proven that you have active brain versus falling on dormant brain, that idea. So the first mistake, people don't want to be themselves. They'll hide behind what we call winning strategies or something worked in the past.
Yeah. So let's go on. So that's the first one. What's the second one?
Let me see. I think the second mistake is it goes with the first one because they're afraid to announce who they are. So guess what? They don't have a team. So the most successful business owners I work with build up the team around them. Because listen, every entrepreneur starts off, you do everything. Yeah. But you only do it to 5-10 degrees deep, because then you realize if you're not detail oriented, accounting, all the detail stuff is not your cup of tea. You have to hire out. And then you come over here, you're not project manager. You're more of a salesman, marketing. You're up here. And then you realize you got to hire people. Usually you do contractors or you scope out your work. But then when you actually have enough money and you build your own team, you got to look for people. And here's where they look for people they can control versus people who will lead them. And they become leaders together. Yeah. So the second thing is, if you don't say where you want to go, you don't say uniquely, I'm giving you reason to reject me, because not everybody wants to sit at my table. Not everybody wants to do this, but I do. I'm passionate, but I love it. Then no one's going to follow you. You haven't given anybody a reason to follow you. Now, if people choose to follow you, the second mistake is you start dominating them and controlling them because you're afraid that they'll be bigger than you. You're afraid that you'll lose control. But here's the secret. There's no way for you to freaking lose control. You're the one that gave them a reason to reject you. You're the one that declared this is where we're going. You're the one that can see what they can't see. So I'll give you an analogy I give most CEOs to help them with this fear. If you look at a 100-story tower, right? Most of us will go through our entrepreneur journey, first floor, second floor. All of a sudden, somehow we leaped up 5th floor, 12th floor. No, we just had some good progress. But from a 12th floor, I could see out, say, 300 feet. When I get to the 50th floor, I can see out a mile. So when you hire your team, they're not all going to jump on the 100th floor with you. Because why? They have to go their journey. They have to go through every floor. They have to go up the elevator like everyone else. And they're only going to see 300 feet out. While you still see 1,000 feet out. I'm sorry, 1,000 miles out. So why would you be afraid of them surpassing you? Your whole job is to keep on seeing further and rising higher and leading the team higher and further, right? Yeah. So once they get that, then they can start hiring the right team. Until then, most of them are so intimidated. And it's subconscious. It's not that they're evil, malice, or vicious. It's just subconscious. They don't think about it, but they hire people that they know they can control. Yeah. So you got to lose control.
Maybe I skipped this step. I've hired some great freelancers over the last year or so. And I think before I actually brought them on, I was doing a lot of things myself. And there's at one point I says, hey, I got to bring someone on. Now I'm at the point where it's like, hey, just do it. You're the expert in this area, right? I'm just along for the ride with you. You just do it and you tell me what the results are and, make my decision based on that.
Yeah. So that's kind of dangerous because I've done that many times until I learned this new principle. Ready? Yeah. I don't tell them you just do it.
Oh, okay.
This is the target I want. This is where we're at. Tell me how you're going to get there. If it doesn't make sense to me, then I can't hold that person accountable, measure them, and get a report weekly or monthly, depending how you want them, right? And I used to say, yeah, just get there. Then I turn around 6 weeks later, nothing got done. Yeah. I turn around 6 months later, I am way behind, paid a lot of money, and then I have a choice. And at the beginning, I used to always just blame them. because they can't read my mind, right? I didn't know what the hell they're doing. And now I take full responsibility for everything. And I say, hey, and so I had to recondition myself. How do I handle outside people, outside my team, outside my payroll? And I just ask them, how you going to get me there? And if it makes sense to me, it's logical, then guess what? I'm done with it because I can hold you accountable to that. I know it's going to be delivered and it makes sense. But if you have to have some whiz bang thing where I don't understand you, you're not for me.
Yeah. So I think that this sounds like the most important thing is like you said, you want to know what the target is before bringing that person in or having them do this particular task. You know, you can explain to me how you get there, but this is the end result that I want.
Yep. Right. And most business owners, though, will look for saviors. Will look for someone to give them something. They're not willing to do the work right now to find the target. Okay. They're looking for someone to tell them what their target needs to be. Because if they fail, they get to blame them. The board, the chairman of the board, they get to blame anybody, the market, but they don't take responsibility that they missed the target. But if they hit the target, guess who gets the credit?
Him.
They do. You know what I mean? So it's really interesting in this world because that's actually the third principle. Is that if they, most CEOs, business owners, entrepreneurs fail because they won't take 100% responsibility. They will not take 100%. They're still looking for a savior. But here's the secret. If you have a contribution to the issue, you have a contribution to the solution. If you have contribution to the issue, you have contribution to the solution. So you say, you know what? I have 20% contribution issue. I didn't check in on time. I didn't communicate, blah, blah. Then your brain gives you about 20% contribution to the solution. You're still a hostage. So victims wait and heroes create. Victims are the ones who don't have a contribution to the issue. I didn't do it. So I'm a victim. I wait for someone to resolve it. But we as heroes, we create. 100% responsible. I own it. So guess what? I have a 100% solution to create and do something to resolve it. I'd rather be a hero and create than a victim that sits there and waits. So that's the third one. Most of them, if they are irresponsible and they don't own 100% of it. Now, listen, I'm not saying it's your fault. I'm saying you're a leader and could have there been more for you to do. That's it. Your team member didn't get the marketing out on time. Is that your fault? Yeah, because you're the leader. You're the business owner. But it's not your fault like because you're bad or you did something wrong. It's you didn't talk and communicate enough with them. You didn't get a weekly update. They didn't know the target timeline, whatever. I don't know. But you know what? Now I own it 100%. I could create different steps. So next time they won't miss the target. Nothing wrong failing. You have to fail. You're going to go, you have to fail. You never, unprecedented territory. In between these two hands is called the gap. You never been there. From 5 million to 10 million, you never been there. You never had those conversations. You never knew what to do. So you're going to fail. There's no straight line. You're going to fail. You can climb back up. You go sideways. But as long as you move in this direction, you have to fail. But you don't have to fail over and over the same issue. The people who fail over and over the same issue are victims. They're waiting for a savior. They're waiting for someone else to resolve it. But the ones that fail and learn from it and fail exact same thing again, but not as hard or deep, and fail one more time, exact same thing, but a lot less. Only the fourth time, they don't fail in that because they kept on learning after every iteration. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So someone, I don't know if this applies. You can tell me if it's kind of a similar principles. Like someone told me, hey, it's not your fault, but it's your responsibility. Right? You're right. It's not my fault that, thing fell down, but it's my responsibility to get it back up.
That's right.
Or how I feel about it.
That's right.
To take care of it.
I like that. It's not your fault, but it's your responsibility.
Okay. So, we talked a lot about what you do for your coaching students. So I'm going to ask you a question about your business, right?
Sure.
Okay. You lose everything, your image, your good looks, your email database, your network. The only thing you have is your computer, your phone, and internet connection. What do? You rebuild your business in 30 days?
No, I've thought about that before. Someone asked me a similar question to that, and I love it because that strips everything down to what's most important. I would find a niche audience, their problem, and work on it. That's it. Because you find niche audience, you see their problem, you give them a solution, you're done. Right now, I partner with One of my businesses, I'm partnering with a dentist, and we're working only with dentists. Listen, dentists, there's 175,000 to 200,000, depending on the data, United States of America. Let's just say 200,000, make it easy numbers. 200,000, that's not a lot. You have a very niche audience. That is not a lot. Batting average wise, to go hit one of those guys is not very good. But here's why it's beautiful. You find a target audience that has a problem. Number one, divorce rate in all medical profession. Number one, suicide rate, all medical profession. Optometrists, doctors, anything in the medical field, they are the number one divorce and suicide rate.
Wow.
So I can resolve their problem. I do emotional leadership development, emotional intelligence leadership development. I help them understand their emotions, their faith, fitness, family, finance, the emotions, and stop pushing it down, down, down like a beach ball in the pool. And all of a sudden, it erupts out onto their family, and they get another divorce. Most dentists are in their second marriage, if not third.
Wow.
I was shocked, brother.
Yeah.
Now I'm kind of, it's common. But my first, I was like, what? This one woman, 3 divorces. She said her first husband was her starter husband.
Oh,
I didn't even know that language existed. Starter husband. But they learned to laugh at it, or not, they're going to cry because it was hard. They have a hard life. Yeah. So if I only had my computer, laptop, I'd look up a niche audience that has a problem that you want to resolve. Now that's, again, give me a reason to reject you, and I'll give you a reason to accept you. I do not do very good corporate training. I left that world because it was boring as hell. And it's like rote memories, like going to school. I'm just teaching them rote memory crap, and there's no emotions attached. So my quote, unquote, corporate training now is mixed with corporate and personal development. And when they collide together, we're laughing, we're screaming, we're getting emotions out, and the whole corporate environment changes. Because it's what I do. I'll give you a reason to reject me. It's going to be loud. It's going to be emotional. And we're working on your faith, fitness, family, and finance. And so if you don't want to get real with that, guess what, buddy? We can't do this. All right. And if they say yes, though, game on. Yep. And I found, so make sure you enjoy doing, even though there's 1,000 million problems out there. But the problem I like to resolve have to do with your self-awareness of who you are. See, like the reason you asked me the questions in the background, if you can see, I grew up with no father, multiple stepfathers. I didn't even know I was Asian. I was just trying to fit in being Mexican, Asian, black, white. There was so much identity crisis. And so if you see my career, it all came to culminating, here's your identity. What the hell do you want? Yeah. Oh, my mom wants this for me, my dad. My school taught me I should. No, I said, what do you want? And that is the toughest question most human beings won't answer, because they've never been asked or given permission. So what I want, I'll give you a reason to reject me so you have a reason to accept me. So first, what are you passionate about? Then go find that niche audience, fix their problem, and just email them. Yeah. Contact them.
All right. This conversation has been one of the best conversations I've had. And we're kind of winding down here. So this is the rapid fire section, right? So you just answer the first thing that comes to the top of your head right here. Okay.
Go for it.
So who is your role model?
My mom, hands down. She's passed away since, but she worked 3 jobs, single mom, and she left us 4 houses when she died. We're like, how the hell she do that? Couldn't even read or write English. I mean, broken. She had to get people translate contracts and stuff for her. We didn't even know that. Single mom immigrant coming to America, working 3 jobs, cocktail waitress at night, sewed at home, and woke up and went to a factory and put a piece of paper between glasses. I didn't get to see her much because she worked constantly, but I was never without. She showed me how my work ethics. Yeah, that's hands down.
Yep. Best business book you've ever read?
I don't know if you call it business book.
Or book,
it's the best. Yeah. No, I'm not exaggerating. I know this is funny, but my history and background being a pastor and a Christian, the Bible is the best business book. It will teach you details. It'll teach you negotiation, teach you relationship. It shows you the screwed up, effed up parts of life. I'm telling you, it's a crazy ass business book.
I know I shouldn't be selling my wares in the temple.
Yeah, all kinds of stuff. It's hilarious.
All right. What's the best advice you've ever gotten?
I don't know. And here's the funny part. I got it I was serving at a camp. I was washing my clothes, And there's someone had this piece of sign up there. So I wish I'd give them credit, but someone just stuck this thing, a laundry machine at this ghetto camp. I was serving inner city kids. I mean, I only had like 4 pairs of clothes. Yeah. And the sign said, treat me like I am, and that's where I'll stay. Treat me what I can be, that's what I'll become. And it made me I had a whole summer think about that. Every time I did laundry, like, what does that really mean? And I thought it was how I treat the students that are coming in from the inner cities and stuff, not in their circumstances of being poor. I had 4 outfits. They had 1, no exaggeration. First time they ever been camping, right? Most inner city kids. And then treat them what they can become, like in God's eyes, the best version of himself, whatever. And I realized at the end of that summer, that camp, that message was not for them. That was for me. If I treat myself in the circumstance I'm in, I'll stay there. Yep. Or do I treat myself what I can be so I can become that? Oh, and that just rocked my world.
That's powerful.
So I can't give the credit away, but that was the best phrase I ever heard.
Right. And then last question. If you could do one thing over again, what would it be?
Put myself out there sooner. Right. I was scared. I was this little Asian kid in an all white area, told I couldn't date white girls because I wasn't white. That going to all this Mexican population. And obviously I'm not Mexican, but I try to be like them in the black area. And I met Asians. And the whole time I just wanted to adapt and be like everybody else. Mm-hmm. If I do it all over again, just freaking be me. I know that's the craziest thing, but I'm telling you, that's the journey I believe we're all on. Either be successful owner, business owner, marriage, parenting, whatever it is. When you're uniquely you, you're always number one. But when you're trying to be someone else, you're a cheap Chinese knockoff. Think about that. If I just be me, no one could beat me, compete with me, because there is no one else but me. Right. But when I try to be like this guru, this leadership book, this coach, or whatever I try to be like, the best I could be is second. Like just an imitation, a knockoff. So just be me.
All right. So this has been a fantastic conversation. If we want to learn more about you, maybe want to work with you, where do you want us to go?
Well, there's 2 places to go. So though I'm working with dentists, all the materials I'm giving them is like amazing. You'll love it, right? You go dentalsyndicate.com. So dentalsyndicate.com. Or you go to the Dental Syndicate Facebook page. And because I work with dentists, I train them. But then with my own consulting, my other arm of my business, consulting side, just go to SabastianHuynh.com. And we're going to put some stuff up there after this conversation. It's been dormant for a while because I've been working Dental Syndicate. Go either place, dentalsyndicate.com or SabastianHuynh.com.
Okay. And I'll post those up in the show notes so everyone can spell it correctly and go straight there. Hey, thanks again, Sabastian. 24 years, pastor and executive coach for business owners, entrepreneurs. This has been one of the best conversations I've had.
Well, thanks for having me, Danny.
Yes. And, we'll talk again soon.
All right. Let me know if you need anything, brother.
Okay.
Talk to you soon.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.